Good
Hi,
morning.
welcome back.
Good morning, beautiful family. Yeah, we're back. The Blues Sisters are back.
Yes.
Are we on a mission from God or
We
what's
are
it?
so on a mission from God. Yes.
See?
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
don't you just love the felt state
I
of
do.
union? Yeah. Wouldn't you choose the felt state of union over any anxiety ever?
Ever.
And it's a choice.
Yeah. It's so beautiful and it's so powerful and it's so peaceful and it's so safe that this is the healing because this is what gives us the incentive to finally get off the fence and stop trying to straddle two worlds because we think that letting go of the world that we're used to would mean sacrifice. The light that brings us over the line is found in our brother in holy relationship. This is from direct experience. I'm not reading from a book. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sis. For life.
Yeah. So we're on lesson 265 today. Creation's gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness is all I see. I have indeed misunderstood the world because I laid my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. How fierce they seemed, and how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. Today I see the world in the celestial gentleness with which creation shines. There is no fear in it. Let no appearance of my sins obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. What is reflected there is in God's mind. The images I see reflect my thoughts. Yet is my mind at one with God's. And so I can perceive creation's gentleness. In quiet would I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine as well. Let me remember that they are the same, and I will see creation's gentleness. Creation's gentleness is all I see.
Yeah.
So creation's gentleness is all I see. And we'll know that as a fact when we feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how God creates, isn't it? His thoughts are his creation. And so the creation was for us to experience. I mean, we are his creation. And we would be experiencing that except for this belief that we have a mind apart that can think its own thoughts. That's the idea of sin, of the separation. So again, the importance of recognizing that the kingdom of heaven, God's love, his thoughts are all here, right here to experience. When we're willing to forgive this thought of separation and accept that our thoughts and God's thoughts are the same.
Yeah, yeah. We won't really want to accept that
Mm-hmm.
until until we've made that positive separation, until we realize that any memory or feeling of having been victimized is actually coming from the ego's filter. Yeah, that second mind,
Yes.
apart from God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, it's a big contrast to be made, to see the two minds, the mind of God, which we belong to
Mm-hmm.
and are in, yeah, and share.
Yes.
And then the second illusory mind, the mind of the personal, so-called personal self-concept. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
And I know that the body is a central idol in that mind.
Definitely, yeah. First came
It's
the thought of a mind apart from God, which we call the ego, and then it gave rise from that thought of a mind apart from God, it gave rise to the body as its fence to hide behind, to prove the separation could and has occurred. Yeah.
right. Without that idol, that illusory body, there could be no separation.
Right. Right. How could we experience ourselves as separate without this body? How would we experience lack or sickness or threat or death or fear or guilt without a body? Yeah. So the body's a complete servant in service to the ego thought system until we repurpose it.
Yeah. The third sentence he says, and how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. That's a powerful statement.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
It's always been
Well,
true, but more than ever, it feels like, boy, the world is ramped up so much to try and get us to be pulled into thinking that there's really something outside of my mind, that there's a cause out there that I've got nothing, no control, no say, no power over. It's happening to me. We refuse to accept that this is an election within the ego thought system and that we actually want it while we want the experience of separation, when we want mythical me to be what we are. Wow, that's a big one.
yeah.
I find when I'm talking to people who aren't on the path and they start to ask questions, that there's the line of demarcation between those who want and those who don't want. Because if we're willing to accept that the world out there is arising from our mind,
Alone.
now, alone, then you can have a conversation. Now you can start. But if they're just adamant about being a victim
Mm-hmm.
of the world that they're seeing because it gives rise to all their judgments and opinions and fears and it makes mythical me so alive in its justification and its thoughts, right? Apart from God. They're not going to be open at all. I find that if we're willing to make that switch around, it's not happening to me, it's happening from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got an inroad. I don't know why I felt that was important to bring up. It's just something
I
I've
think
noticed
so.
along the path. Yeah.
I think so, because I'm going back 30 odd years in in the illusory past.
Yeah.
Everyone around me believed,
Mm-hmm.
everyone that I was in relationship with believed that the world was being done to them,
Yes.
not by them,
Right.
the body and the world.
Yes.
And so, it was a big thing to take on this thought
Accountability.
system that the course is disseminating,
Yes.
and to start to show up
Mm-hmm.
in my own authenticity, and just explain to them that, hey, this is where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Right.
this, yeah, the world
Yeah.
is being done by me. The body is being done by me.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a victim of the world I see.
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying all of this to my mother.
How'd that go?
And her looking at me and going, as if I had, 6
Yeah.
or 7 different heads.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, how did that go, sis? You got to laugh, right?
Yeah.
Didn't go too well,
Yeah.
but
And no judgment. For lifetimes we didn't want it, but at any rate, I think it's the ego really has so much to lose once we're willing to admit that it's coming from our mind, because that's the move of empowerment.
yeah.
That's now because it's coming from our mind, that's where healing takes place. And when we know that, we're well on our way. That's accountability and the practice of forgiveness and accepting the atonement, and how beautiful that when we accept the atonement, I and the Father are one. The Father's thoughts are my thoughts. God's love is all there is, and I am one with that, right?
Mm.
Oh my gosh. This felt experience of love and true union, and listen to that. Creation's gentleness is all around you. A mind that's at peace and at rest with zero fear can look through the eyes of love and see only the beauty in all things, the grace that rests upon all things that your eyes touch upon. It's like it's miraculous. The whole world just sort of winks and giggles with you.
Mm.
Been there, and then I lose it. But boy, when you're in it, just pure joy.
Very true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It does demand a shift, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If, from my experience, the first 15 years or so
Mm-hmm.
of doing the lessons, coming into this lesson more and more, and the other lessons that support it, I was having my mini breakthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I was able to feel the love of God surrounding me.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to feel the peace, etc. But if I'm to be honest, most of the time I was still engaged with the body and the world, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever specialness was
Yeah.
still left in my relationships. And the last hideout really was within the special relationships, because the ego was saying to me, you better not be completely and totally authentic, practicing the 7 keys of authentic communication, because guess what? You're going to be alone.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to be doing the last leg of this journey alone.
Mm-hmm.
It was so convincing.
Yeah.
Uh, and now I have more people around me than I've ever had before. And guess what? Everyone's on the path.
Yes.
So it's the ego was just trying to really confound me
Mm-hmm.
and frighten me. It's not true.
Thanks for
No,
sharing that experience, because that's going to be really important for everybody else that's on this path too, to recognize when the ego says that you're going to be alone. I deal with that one myself, that you're just going to be left dangling all by yourself, um, when you show up completely radically honest in every relationship. And sis is proof, and I'm getting there, that that's not true.
it can't be true.
No.
The more aligned with these principles we are, and the more we're actually living the principles, the more Holy Spirit finds us open to receiving true relationships.
Yeah. Right. And then holy relationships call others to it. So
Yeah,
we're never alone. It's not possible. Feel that.
thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so creation's gentleness is all I see. Mm.
You mentioned something about any other footnotes or anything. Did you cover those, or did you have anything else you wanted to add? I don't want you to.
Thank you. Thanks for asking. No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I think we've covered it really, sis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 265. Thanks, family. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next time.
Have a miraculous day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us.
Bye.
Thanks for bringing that felt state in for us ever more deeper. Yeah, we both appreciate you. All of you. Okay. Bye.